Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Srijan, and you're listening to the Social Impact Stories, a podcast where I dive into conversation with student leaders and global leaders from around the world and listen to their inspiring stories about how they are creating an impact. So, welcome everyone to this new episode, and I hope you like the new intro of the podcast, by the way. I played the background music myself, so let me know if you like it. And anyway, let's dive into the main episode. And as you already know, we have here in this podcast today Sean. He is a Millennium Fellow from the University of South Florida who believes that even a small change can bring a huge positive impact over time. And I personally truly believe this too. So we'd be talking a lot about what his thoughts about it, even more, and what he has been doing for the cause. But before that, Sean, thank you again for being here in the virtual studio. And why don't we get things started by letting you talk a bit to the audience? Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience first?
Okay, yeah, I'd be happy to. I'm Sean Schrader. I'm a senior at the University of South Florida, which is located in Tampa Bay. Everyone knows Tampa Bay now as Champa Bay, thanks to the Buccaneers and football. But it's been a lot of fun to be involved at the university and also to be involved in my local community. I've been able to work with some nonprofit organizations and some other types of groups to help bring a youth voice to the table and help make a positive change for everybody.
Wow, amazing. It's really nice to have you here. And as I understand about the project that you're working on is trying to create a sustainable toolkit for students who need it, that contains like erasers, pencils, rulers, and everything. But the most unique part about that is none of it is made from plastics. So that's really cool. But before we get more into it about your project, I really wanted to hear about how it all got started, how you started thinking about this project and like how it all got started.
Well, we are very fortunate here in Tampa Bay to be surrounded by water, and so we are, very fortunate to be home to Clearwater Beach, one of the top destinations in the country and the world, as well as some other beaches around the area. And I've been able to participate with some organizations in the past that help do beach cleanups, that pick up trash and things like that. And I sort of felt conflicted because I did one of these cleanups and I was happy because I was able to help pick up a lot of trash when they weighed it all at the end. But I was upset because, there's been a lot of trash that exists on the beach. And I don't think, that's good for multiple reasons. I mean, it's not good from obviously a environmental perspective, because that can harm animals, that, harms the ocean. It's also not good from a perspective of wanting to welcome people to Clearwater Beach and other beaches. If there's a lot of trash and things like that around. So I got inspired to think about what change could you bring that would be small, like you were saying, but over time can help make a big difference. And that's sort of where the sustainable toolkit idea came from.
Okay, first of all, I wasn't saying that. I was literally quoting from your own article. So I really love the thing you say. So I included it in the beginning. But yeah, I'm really happy you mentioned about the beaches and all. Because as I was preparing to have this podcast with you, I started Googling too. And I was really shocked about that. About 8 million tons of plastics every year gets leaked into the ocean every year. That's huge. And most shockingly, most of it are in from the shorelines of our continents, and then it gets into the ocean. And the worst part is, like, it's kind of an irony because the plastics itself was invented as a solution to prevent keep the availability of the natural resources of our planet Earth. But now this plastics going into the ocean water, harming the turtles, the fishes, and whatnot living in the ocean. So that's causing some drastic impact into our oceans, our wild animal life, and everything. So it is really important that we try to keep our shorelines clean and use less plastic. So as you guys are most probably rethinking the whole idea of using those plastics and trying to make a sustainable toolkit, as I understand, right? So walk me through more about it. Like,
Well, essentially, we all need supplies for
mhm,
school. I mean,
yeah.
that's just usually a thing we need. Thankfully for me, my mother and father, they both have careers. My mother's a math professor. My father is an accountant, so they both deal with
Wow.
math. Thankfully for me, I am about finished with math. I've learned that's not my strong suit, but for a while I needed a ruler in my math classes, and that's one of the items in the toolkit,
Mhm.
that's not made out of plastic. In addition to that, there are also different items such as like what you were mentioning before, an eraser, a pencil pouch, and things of that nature that again, and pencils that are not made out of plastic, but everyone uses at some point or another, especially, in college and things like that. And the idea with these toolkits is that the very unique part about it is there are pencils made by a company called Sprout. And the pencils have a capsule on the top of them that when you're done writing with them, when they can no longer, be sharpened again and are, finished being used for writing, you can plant them and they can grow into, a small plant, basil or a house plant or something like that. And so the idea behind the project is that, when students get the toolkit, and they use these supplies, hopefully when they're done using it, then they can use, the pencil for a secondary purpose of having a little garden or a plant or something like that, and keep people updated with the progress of how it's going in the meantime.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, that's a very unexpected twist. I wasn't really thinking about that. Like having a capsule on the pencil. Wow, I'm really amazed the thing you're doing it. And like, how is it going, the project that you have started? How many people you were able to reach?
Well, it's been going well. Of course, with the pandemic, it has made it a little bit challenging to be able to connect with students in person, one-on-one about these projects. However, for this spring, I'm very excited. I've been able to get some good support both out in the community and at the university to try and move this forward and bring these toolkits to students so that they can use them. Ideally, it starts off small with a pilot program, and students can give their feedback about how
Right.
they've enjoyed
Mhm.
participating. And from there, then for next year, it can be a much, larger scaled project, and sort of move on from there. And again, always open to adaptations. If people don't like a bamboo ruler, they want to use a metal ruler instead, that's okay with me. So it's nice too because you get to get other people involved in the process as well, and get them engaged on what supplies they want to use and supplies they think will make a difference, from an eco-friendly standpoint.
I really love it how it all got started, like from cleaning up beaches, plastics from the beaches, and then trying to reduce the use of plastic by rethinking the whole purpose of it, and then recycling the products too, and then providing it to the students who need it. And such innovative way, like I'm still stuck into the idea of the pencil having another purpose after it's being used. So that's truly wonderful. And so what are your future plans like after this gets done? Like when you have successfully piloted the program, are you planning to expand it even more in different ways?
Well, that would be really exciting to do that. I think if it can be successful here at the University of South Florida for
Mhm.
students, what's to say, that it cannot be successful in other areas as well, other universities within Florida. or other public schools for that matter, high schools, middle schools, everybody needs pencils. So, and school supplies that are in school. So I think that that would be really exciting to do that. And then again, like we're talking about, you get more people involved that way. And you get more of an awareness going on. And I really hope, that when we're doing this, it doesn't only provide students with sustainable supplies, but in the back of their mind, it also helps them think about, uh, what kind of eco footprint am I leaving, and how can I be more environmentally conscious in what I do, and if enough people feel that way, I really think that it could help make a difference from the standpoint of a lot of littering we see, and things like that.
But I believe it too. So I really love the optimism that you have and such an inspire. I mean, you have such a calm tone and the way you're talking. Everything is so amazing about your whole personality and the idea that you're working with. I'm really loving it. So do you have any advice for the young people out there who are maybe thinking that okay, maybe I can come up with something too, maybe for my community to create a better world just like you are doing? So any advice that you want to share?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think one thing is that you have to really keep a positive mindset. And, it can be very, very hard to do that. At some points in today's world, we do have a lot of challenges we're facing. But when you have a positive attitude, when you stay the course, I really think that over time, that can make a big difference. And the biggest thing, I think, is that you have to believe yourself in what you're doing. If you believe that the change you want to make is going to be beneficial to others, going to make a positive impact, going to help people out, then I think that's going to help other people get sold on your idea too. But you have to be committed to it, because if you're not committed, I don't think that anyone else would really be interested in getting committed as well. But staying committed and staying positive about it, and just thinking about too, don't have to change the world in a day. And I've got, burdened by that. I've wondered, and I'm sure you have too, and so many other fellows I've met who have been amazing. I've met, Millennium Fellows both at my school and across Florida and across the country and the world, that have so many great projects, and a big thing is thinking, well, how can I change the world overnight? And I wish it were that easy, but starting small and making a difference in your own community, and when you get to, see positive change happen to the people, the places, that's just really a heartwarming feeling. And I think that, starting small can be good, and it can be an exciting place to start.
Amazing. Believe in yourself and starting small. Thank you so much, Sean, for sharing all this. Just and I really love talking with you. And everyone, stay tuned for more episodes. With this, goodbye.